Hello everybody and welcome to the full-time podcast. This is our Premier League predictions for game week 1. We're going to be doing this every single week for all the game weeks, tallying up the points and see who is the prediction meister on the full-time podcast. Kicking it off though on Friday night, we've got Burnley versus Manchester City. This should be fairly straightforward. Man City, obviously the champions, the treble winners last season. Although Burnley, at home, who've had a brilliant season, easily winning the league under Vincent Kompany. Although I'm going to go Man City just winning this 2-0. I don't think it'll be a thriller like last season where Arsenal lost to Brentford. But I think Burnley will put up a good fight.
Man City versus Burnley. I've gone with a 4-1 victory to Man City. It's a very big score, but let's be honest, it's Man City. Look at them last season. They're the best team in the world right now. And I know it's big saying they'll concede to Burnley, but I honestly think Burnley will do really well this season. A lot of people have put them in the relegation. Now, I think Burnley will stay up. I think they'll get, not top half, maybe just getting off 11th, 12th. But I reckon they'll score, especially with the Kompany as their manager. So, yeah, 4-1. I think that'll be a good scoreline.
Burnley versus Man City. It's an easy one, I think. City definitely win. 4-1 Man City. Just because, Burnley just come up against Man City, the treble winners, so it's easy.
Next, Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, who last season, that game was actually the one that where Forest stayed up and Man City won the league. Although this season I think it'll be different. It's at the Emirates. Arsenal have just won the Community Shield, which will give them confidence in this game. So I'm going to go with an Arsenal win 3-1. I think it'll be fairly easy for Arsenal.
Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, after just winning the Community Shield, I reckon we will win 3-0. Easy win. Easy, comfortable win. I reckon Forest are going to have a bad season this season. I reckon maybe they'll get 16th, 17th, just escaping relegation. But yeah, I think we'll have a really comfortable victory here, especially after winning Community Shield. I just think, we've now got that confidence to go up, and with all our new signings, we're looking amazing.
Arsenal versus Forest. Very excited for this one. I reckon 3-2 Arsenal, because it's home for Arsenal, even though we lost to Forest last season. That was at Forest, so I think it'll be slightly easier for us, and with our new squad, Forest haven't really got many new players, so 3-2 Arsenal.
Bournemouth versus West Ham. Now, I'm a West Ham fan, although it has been going absolutely shambolic for us over the transfer window. We've lost Declan Rice. I think the only signings we're going to get is Maguire and an Ajax player who's Alvarez. We've not even got Ward-Prowse yet, and I don't know what's going on. And Bournemouth, I do think they'll stay up this season, as I said in my predictions. I'm going to go Bournemouth 2, West Ham 1, because I can't see West Ham winning the first game of the season away against Bournemouth.
Bournemouth versus West Ham. I've gone with 2-1 to West Ham. It will just be another... No, I don't reckon it'll be easy, to be fair. I reckon West Ham will just clench the win, but I think it'll be a comfortable game throughout. Just Bournemouth will put up a fight, but no, I don't think they're good enough.
Bournemouth, West Ham. I think Bournemouth, they'll be alright. I don't think they'll go down the season. And I think West Ham might have a better season. So I think 2-1 West Ham, but a really close game. I think it could be a draw, but West Ham might just slightly get it.
Brighton against Luton. Now this is a very tricky one actually, because Luton at home that's where they're going to get all their points, and I don't think away at Brighton, even though may have their away support and being back in the Premier League will give them a boost, but when you're away at the Amex, you can't expect anything really, especially Luton, one of the smallest teams in the Premier League this season.
Brighton versus Luton. I've gone for a 4-0 to Brighton here. I just think they're looking amazing. If you've seen some of their games through pre-season as well, they're looking really unstoppable at the minute. And they've got in some good signings. Their players, especially from last season, we saw with Mitoma and then Ciso. I think, they're looking really good. I reckon they'll do really well this season. So 4-0 them. Luton, I put Luton 20th in the league this season. I reckon this will be a horrible season for them. I reckon they'll just get beat most games they're playing. So Brighton 4-0, easy win.
Brighton, Luton. Luton don't really have a chance. Brighton came like 7th last season, and they'll probably do it again, or 6th or something like that. So I think 3-0 Brighton, because they don't really have much strength, Luton. They need a proper good signing to get them through the season, because 20th place, I think everyone's guessing it.
Everton against Fulham. This is not a very much anticipated game, although I'm not going to have much reasoning behind this. Fulham, I think they'll lose Palhinha. They've lost Mitrovic already. And Everton are just looking really bad. I think this will be... I wouldn't like to say a 0-0 game, but I'm going to go Everton 0, Fulham 0.
Everton versus Fulham, which will be a good game, because Everton obviously did not do well last season. I think they'll get relegated this season as well. I've gone for 3-1 to Fulham. Again, like the City game, risky to put Everton a goal, but I just think, well, Fulham will easily fly this game. I think this would be easy for Fulham, but yeah, I don't reckon they'll get a clean sheet. I reckon they'll just give the clean sheet away, maybe last 10 minutes, goal for Everton, but yeah, I don't think Everton will have another off-season, in my opinion.
Everton-Fulham. I think Everton might lose this one, just like the Bournemouth-West Ham game. I think it'll be 2-1 Fulham. Even though they're away, Fulham are a strong side, and I reckon Everton might just escape relegation again this season. So, yeah, Fulham will win that.
Sheffield United against Crystal Palace. Sheffield United back in the Premier League. 3 o'clock on a Saturday, which not very eventful. Crystal Palace has lost Zaha. Sheffield United have lost their best player. So I'm gonna go right in the middle, and I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw there.
Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, after what we saw last season, I do not reckon they're gonna have a good season this season. I can't lie. Sheffield, I think I put them in my relegation. We'll have a look if we do that episode. But no, Crystal Palace do not look good, especially after what we saw last season. So I've gone for a 1-1 score there. I just think even teams, boring game, 1-1. And Palace, yeah, they're not looking very good.
Sheffield versus Crystal Palace. Palace, they're a good team, they are, but they're not the strongest team, especially with Zaha gone. I think Sheffield, because it's home for them, it might be a 1-1 draw, that's what I think. But I think they're still going to go down, Sheffield United, but I don't know if Palace will be that strong this season.
Newcastle against Aston Villa. Now this is one of the best games this game week, and Aston Villa looking brilliant in pre-season. Newcastle getting some good players in Tonali. I think this will be a very enjoyable watch for neutrals as well. I'm going to say 2-2. I think it'll be high scoring. It's at St James's Park, so Newcastle could very well go and win it. But I'm going to say a draw, and I'm going to stick with 2-2 because I think Aston Villa will have a very good season.
It's Newcastle versus Aston Villa, which in my opinion will be an amazing game, as Aston Villa are looking really good with their new signs. They got Diaby, who's an amazing winger. They're looking a really good team, and I think they'll really improve this season. And Newcastle, I do think they'll do as well. Just, I don't think they'll beat what they did last season. I reckon Newcastle will come 5th, 6th. I don't know where I put them. I need to have a look. But yeah, I just think 2-2. Villa will really up their game this season. You never know where they'll finish.
Newcastle, Aston Villa. I think it's tough because Newcastle, the amount of players they've bought, they've got the money. So, and Villa, they've got like Diaby. They've got so many players, and it's a really good season for them. So I reckon that'll be 2-2. I think both teams will have an amazing season, but this game will be a draw.
Brentford against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham could lose Kane. Whether they'll do it in the next few days before the season starts, I don't know. Brentford, however, they've done it before against Tottenham, at home as well. It's Sunday at 2 o'clock, this one. Sunday games are always unpredictable in the Premier League. So, I can't go with a draw again. I'm going to have to say someone wins. I think Tottenham will just scrape a win, and they'll win 2-1.
It's Brentford versus Spurs. I've gone for a 2-1 win to Brentford. Very shocking and unlikely, even though Kane has stayed at Spurs. which is stupid. They got offered £100 million bid for him and he didn't leave. But no, I think Spurs will absolute bottle this game. And Brentford are looking really good. Obviously, they've got a couple of new players that shone last season and did really well. So, yeah, I reckon Spurs will lose, which will be good for everyone.
Brentford Spurs. I don't want to say it, but Spurs are the better team, so I think Spurs will win 2-1. I hope they don't, but, you know.
Now, Chelsea-Liverpool, game of the week, probably, hopefully. It's been a 0-0 in the last 2 games, but I think with the more players that Chelsea have brought in Cuckoo, I think he's looking very, very good. And Liverpool have brought in Szoboszlai, McAllister, who definitely strengthened their midfield. I don't want to go draw again. I think that at Stamford Bridge on the first game of the season, I'm going to go Chelsea 3. No, it can't be that high scoring. I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Liverpool 0.
Chelsea versus Liverpool. I reckon 3-1 win to Liverpool. Again, this is just not a boring game. It'll be really entertaining, as Chelsea-Liverpool always is, but an easy victory throughout. I reckon Chelsea will do really well this season. I put them 5th, I think, or Newcastle, either one. I reckon they'll do well. I think they'll play a really good game, but Liverpool, in my opinion, will get top 4. I think they didn't like last season, so they're just going to come back much stronger. So 3-1 win, pretty easy.
Chelsea-Liverpool. That's a tough one, because I think Chelsea will be better this season. I think they'll get Europa League. But I think Liverpool win 2-0, because it's Liverpool and they're actually a decent team.
Wolves against Man United, the last game this game week, Monday night, and very much anticipated for Manchester United fans. Wolves, I don't know where they've been in the transfer window. They've not actually had any news around them and around players. I know that they've lost Jimenez and Neves, which isn't good for Wolves. Man United, though, bringing in Mason Mount, bringing in Højlund. So Man United have definitely strengthened there. For this game, I'm going to go Wolves 1, Man United 3.
Man U Wolves. This could go anywhere. You could have put 6, 5, 4-0. I just went for 3-0. Might change it to 4. But I just think they'll fly through this. Wolves, I reckon they'll get relegated or 17th. They're not doing better than that, in my opinion. They've not really got any signings this season. Did they get rid of some players? I'm not sure. Don't keep track of Wolves, but going from last season, they were terrible. I've not seen any of the pre-season games, so just got to hope. And Man U, they've got some brilliant signings and players. So, yeah, that's that. 3-0 Man U, and they're the games for this week.
Man United Wolves, which another easy one. Man United will win. And I think 3-0, just because it's Man United. And I think Martinez will have another good season. Same with Casemiro. And Wolves, they've just sacked their manager a few days before the Prem starts, and their manager's gone, so they're not going to have a good season at all. But yeah, that's my Premier League predictions.
Now, thank you for watching the Full-Time Podcast Game Week 1 predictions. Get your predictions down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Callum. Subscribe.